are thousands of gaming PCs to buy online, but which store has the best PC? So I decided to buy a $500 gaming PC from Temu, TikTok Shop, and Amazon. So if I search up gaming PC on Temu, there are a lot of options. But when I filter it by up to $500, the PCs start to look a lot worse. All these gaming PCs on the bottom don't even look like gaming PCs at all. They look pretty bad, so I only have a few options over here at the top. So what I'm gonna do is just look for the gaming PC with the best graphics card possible, because that's probably gonna give us the most amount of FPS. This first PC actually doesn't look too bad. It has over 20 sold and 5 stars. But the specs on it are actually kind of decent. I think we can do better. 32 gigabytes of RAM in this economy though, that's pretty impressive, Temu. There's also this gaming PC, but this is an example of one you don't want because it has integrated graphics. So I'm definitely not getting this one. Okay, so I found this one that's pretty much the exact same thing, but it just has a GT 1030, which is a pretty good graphics card, but I think we can find something better. A lot of these PCs here honestly look pretty much the same. I definitely want to get one with RGB. Like, I don't like this one over here that just doesn't have any RGB, even though it comes with a monitor, but I just need a gaming PC that has RGB and a graphics card. That's like the main thing. Okay, so Temu's pretty much just selling the exact same gaming PC, but just a different graphics card every time. Like now it's the GTX 650. So after searching every PC on Temu, most of them had a GTX 650 or GT 1030. But there was only one gaming PC that had a better graphics card, the RX 580, which gets better performance pretty consistently. But how much better is TikTok Shop? But the reason I have so many gaming PCs and gaming setups is because I absolutely love gaming. However, the one thing I absolutely hate and cannot stand while gaming is bad internet, which is why I use EXITLAG. EXITLAG is a software specifically built to reduce ping and latency, lower the risk of disconnections in the middle of games, and has a ton of special tools to help improve your FPS. The difference when I have it off versus on is pretty insane. Not only is my ping way lower, but it's also way more consistent. All you need to do is go down below in the description, click on EXITLAG, install it, simply choose whatever your favorite game is, and then click optimize. It is that easy and works for almost anyone and any game because they have over 1,200 servers across 5 continents and support over 3,000 different games. You also have nothing to lose because you can try it for completely free with a 3-day free trial, and the best part is, since it's EXITLAG's birthday, they actually have huge discounts. If you subscribe to the annual subscription, you get 50% off and an extra 3 months for completely free, which means you get a full year of EXITLAG for half the price plus 3 30-day keys for free. So if you want to improve your gaming experience right now, make sure you check out EXITLAG with the first link in my description or pinned comment. Well, TikTok Shop literally has no options except one. Once I put a $500 budget, the only PCs on here are laptops or mini gaming PCs that just don't look that good at all. So this high performance gaming PC seems like the only option, but it actually does not look that bad. So as you guys can see, it has a starting price of $480, but goes up to $640, which is obviously past our budget. But if I actually scroll down, there are a few options I can select. So I'm gonna keep it on 500 gigabytes to keep the price down. But what I do want is to have RGB fans. So if I select this, it's $505 and this other option is $535. I wanna make sure I have RGB. I'll go $5 over the budget because it's literally the only choice I have on TikTok. And if I add the keyboard and mouse bundle, it's just way too much. So for the TikTok Shop PC, this is our only option and it's $505. So it honestly doesn't look too bad because the specs here are pretty good. It actually has the exact same graphics card as the Temu PC, so this is going to be super interesting how they actually perform. Finally, it was time for Amazon, the biggest online store in the world, and it was pretty obvious why. There are so many different choices to choose from, and Amazon just has honestly too many gaming PCs. To help narrow down my search, I'm just going to look for the gaming PC with the best graphics card, and this one actually looks pretty good, and it comes with a keyboard and mouse. It has a GTX 1050 Ti, which is a 4 gigabyte card, card, but the reviews don't look the most promising. However, just looking at the gaming PC, for $450, it actually looks pretty good. We have a ton of RGB, we have a pretty decent looking CPU cooler, 16 gigs of RAM, and most importantly, the GTX 1050 Ti. There still are a lot of other options. I'm definitely not gonna get these PCs. There is another one with a GTX 1050 Ti, but honestly, I like the way that the previous PC looked, so I'm gonna pass over that. RX 550, that is not as good. This PC actually looks really, really nice aesthetically, but it has an RX 580. I don't wanna get that exact same graphics card again, and I think we still can find something better. Oh, okay, so we have this gaming PC over here. It honestly doesn't look as good, but it has an RX 590, an i7. It probably is an older i7, but it looks like it has a decent amount of reviews. And dude, the RX 590 is actually an 8GB graphics card compared to the 4GB in the GTX 1050 Ti. So this is definitely a really good option, but I'm gonna just keep searching around because I'm trying to find the best PC possible. Okay, honestly, I think both of these PCs are my best options over here. The RX 590 and GTX 1050 Ti, according to user benchmark, are just so similar in performance. The GTX 1050 Ti actually has slightly better performance, surprisingly, so it kind of just comes down to the rest of the specs and your preference. Both of these gaming PCs have a Core i7, which is probably about the same gen. They both have 16 gigabytes of RAM, so they're just both so similar, and they both have 512 gigabytes of storage on an SSD. After considering all the options, I decided to go with the GTX 1050 Ti PC because the performance was slightly better, but it also was $450, which saves us quite a bit of money. So after ordering all three of the gaming PCs, I waited 1 week for all of them to arrive. The Temu and Amazon PCs both arrived, but the TikTok Shop gaming PC never arrived. Even after waiting over 1 week, so I decided to check out TikTok Shop again, and there somehow was a brand new gaming PC. It was called the Budget Baddie. I'm not even joking, that was the actual name of it. So of course I had to order it, and this time it actually got delivered. Finally, I got all three gaming PCs after waiting for almost 3 weeks. And I'm gonna be starting off on the first PC we ordered, which is the Temu one. The box for it is actually really big, and I think it's because we do also get a free, I was gonna say a free keyboard and mouse, but it looks like they also gave us an entire speaker or like sound bar for free. So yeah, we have an entire RGB sound bar, a bunch of papers, a mouse pad too, and this looks like it's RGB as well. And if I take out the rest of the stuff out of the box, we should also have the gaming keyboard and the gaming mouse. So it looks like from Temu, we didn't only buy a gaming PC, we pretty much have an entire gaming setup apart from a gaming monitor. That's the only thing we're missing. So let's move all the peripherals over to the side and let's focus on the gaming PC first. For the first test, the PC definitely passes the packaging test because, dude, they packaged this really well. And it looks like even after all this outer packaging, there is even more packaging inside of the gaming PC. So let's take off this side panel, which is actually tempered glass, so that is actually a pretty big plus. So behind this tempered glass side panel, we have a little cable. I think this is actually for the mouse pad, and we actually have a RGB remote for the RGB inside this PC. And of course, this is just like a quick little styrofoam thing to make sure nothing inside the PC gets damaged. So removing that, we can finally get a better look at the PC, and dude, for the first PC, this is actually setting some pretty high expectations. The cable management and overall first look at it is way better than I expected. And keep in mind, this is literally from Temu. Like literally known for having the cheapest and sometimes bad quality products. This is looking really, really good for my first impressions. All the cables seem to be managed pretty well. We even have some zip ties over here, which is really, really nice. And everything is like on the same color scheme except this one red SSD cable, but that doesn't really matter. Let's give it a quick power on to make sure everything is working, and instantly boots up, no issues at all. They even got the Temu color scheme on this, bro. Also, I literally didn't do this. It just automatically turned on with the Temu color scheme. I don't know if they did that on purpose because it matches the entire background, but that's sick. Bro, there is so much RGB inside of this PC. We have 3 RGB fans over here on the front, and by the way, they are really, really bright. We also have 2 over here on the bottom, 1 in the back. We don't have any on the actual top, but we also have an RGB fan for the CPU cooler. Bro, yo, this is looking sick. And it looks like on the PC itself, you actually, I think, can change it or not. There is an LED button, but I think it's not working. I think we just have to use a little remote instead. So on the remote, we have all the classic colors. We have like the rainbow RGB. So this actually looks really, really nice on camera too. But we also have like red, blue, green. You have all the normal ones, purple, which I legit always use, but let's just do it on auto so we have the kind of classic gamery RGB lights. So to be honest, if you didn't tell me this was a Temu PC, I literally wouldn't think so. There's nothing on here that tells me it's from Temu. Everything seems to be working fine, no issues. It looks good aesthetically, but the main reason I actually bought this PC was for the specs. So for the CPU, they do say it's a Core i7, but I hate when pre-built companies do this. Literally, like all the time they do, especially on like Amazon, Temu, TikTok Shop, those type of websites. They just say Core i7. Like they don't tell you if it's a 2nd gen or like a 10th gen. So usually in this price point, they usually are like a 4th gen Core i7 from what I've kind of seen. So that's what I'm gonna guess this is. But for the RAM, it doesn't have RGB. However, if we're looking at the pros, it isn't the ugly kind of green sticks. They're just black, so they blend in with the overall PC and they just elevate the looks. And each of these are an 8GB stick. So we have 16GB of RAM in total, and we will be able to take advantage of dual channel. But realistically, I would recommend 16GB like as a bare minimum, even on a like $100 PC. And of course, for gaming, the most important part is the graphics card. So we do have the RX 580 like you guys saw, but it looks like they actually have it branded as their own. I can see like little STG branding on the fans like right off camera. So literally everything inside of here seems to be branded, even all the peripherals as well. So of course, before we test out this gaming PC, which looks way better than I expected again, let's just check out all the STG peripherals and start with the gaming keyboard. Again, I don't have any high expectations for these at all because they were literally free. So yeah, I don't really care like how bad or good they are, but the better they are, that's just bonus points, honestly. So starting off with the keyboard, it looks like we have a full-size keyboard, and let's plug it in because I think it does have RGB. So yeah, as I plug it in, we can see the RGB. It's not too bright, but quick sound test. It just kind of is a little bit mid, and of course it is membrane as well. You can't really expect it to be mechanical. So yeah, it is kind of cheap feeling, but I will actually try gaming on this keyboard since they did give it to us, and I know some people actually do use these free keyboards. They just definitely aren't the best, and I would always recommend getting a mechanical keyboard, but let's just still test it out. But let's check the mouse, and yeah, it doesn't have side buttons, so I definitely will not be gaming on this because I legit can't game without side buttons. But again, let's plug this in, and literally everything is STG Auberon branded. I think that's how you call the name. But yeah, this is a really cheap feeling mouse, and the clicks aren't too bad, but it is just very, very cheap feeling, and I can like literally rip this all apart. Like, dude, it just feels so cheap. And it just sounds very plasticky. At least it is light, and I do like lighter mice, but this feels light in a bad way. Like, it just feels legit like it's $2. But what's really cool is they did give us an entire sound bar, so I'm actually really curious to see how this looks. Like, bro, they did not have to give us a sound bar at all. They actually were giving us like quite a bit, if I'm being honest. They're over delivering, especially for Temu. Like, you legit would not expect this to be Temu at all. And of course, they included all the cables. We have the USB, which I think this one is for RGB, and then we also have the audio jack. So this is what we need to connect to actually test the audio. But let's just connect this. It is USB-C, and then it just connects USB-A right onto the PC. So just like that. And is there RGB? We might need to connect this. Oh, okay, wait, no, on the back it says on. There we go. Oh my, yo. Doesn't sound that bad? No. Honestly, didn't sound that bad at all. Like, I'm not expecting it to be some crazy bass, but yo, tell me this doesn't look sick, bro. It actually has a lot of RGB on it, and this is actually pretty bright. So I definitely need to actually test this out. Bro, this is sick. Yo, how is this from Temu, yo? And we're still not even done. Don't forget we have a free mouse pad. I'm not gonna be using this because it's kind of tiny, but yeah, I mean, feeling it just feels kind of mid, to be honest, but I can't really complain too hard. It might look a little bit used, I'm not really sure. Usually these RGB mouse pads are not that bright, but plugging this in, You can see it does have RGB. Over here near the top it is bright, but then when you get near the bottom, there basically is like no RGB. We are able to change it. They do have blue, green. It looks kind of basic colors, but I mean, dude, it's a free mouse pad. Like, dude, this is like, yo, this is crazy, yo. They genuinely gave me so many more things than I expected, but now let's set it up, and I'm hoping this PC will perform as good as it already like kind of looks. Honestly, for a Temu gaming PC, it looks better than I expected, but the most important part is how the PC performs. So for each gaming PC, I'm gonna be running it through the same 3 tests, and the first one is a quick benchmark using user benchmark. So user benchmark is just a quick free benchmark. It doesn't go super in depth, and it's not as accurate as other benchmarks, but this will just give us a general understanding of each PC. Okay, so I just opened the results, and we have a 17% gaming score. This basically is predicting that we're not going to be getting that much FPS. The desktop score is kind of decent, but that's just like watching YouTube and browsing, and workstation is like editing. But if we scroll down over here, we can see our Core i7-4770 is actually performing above expectations. It looks like the graphics card is performing below expectations, and so is the RAM. It's saying it's performing below its potential. It probably could like get overclocked or something, but I'm not going to even touch anything. We're going to load right into the first game. So the results were honestly not too impressive, but that doesn't always mean it's going to be bad for gaming, which is why for the second test, I'm going to be testing it out on Minecraft. Without touching anything, the FPS is sitting anywhere from 2 to 500, almost 1,000 actually, and for our quality presets, we do have it on the fast preset, and this is kind of just like the default Minecraft setting. However, you guys will see if I actually try running around, it does kind of start to stutter a little bit. The FPS is still extremely high. The only thing is there are a few frame stutters, and I think that's mainly down to like the CPU maybe getting bottlenecked a little bit. Like you can see it just spiked to 95% usage. Our GPU is at like 80% or below usage, so I don't think it's that. However, it is a Temu PC, and we're hitting like 600 to 700, sometimes 500 FPS, so it seems to be pretty good. And if we actually go into the options and put everything on the absolute lowest, we might be even getting more FPS more consistently. If I don't touch anything and literally just let it sit, we're getting almost 1.2k FPS, but what's really weird is our GPU usage is starting to spike a little bit, so that might have been causing some of the frame drops, but now you guys can see we're sitting almost 1,000 FPS, and it actually isn't frame dropping at all now. However, that's just low settings, so let's keep it on 1080p, but let's put it onto like the fabulous all maxed out settings, and now it looks like the FPS is below 100. We're pretty much sitting at like max CPU usage. It literally is at like 100% the whole time, and it literally is like slideshow. Like, look at how bad it is. And for some reason, it's saying our GPU usage is like only 8%, but I think it's just because it's like lagging so hard. Yeah, we're basically like, yeah, this is like stuttering so much, especially if I'm trying to load in anything new. And of course, if I'm crazy enough to try and game on 4K, it's pretty much probably gonna be unplayable. Now on 4K max Minecraft settings, the FPS is like legit like 20, not even. We're sitting consistently at 100% CPU usage. So yeah, you cannot play Minecraft on high settings. It's just way too laggy. So the Temu PC can definitely run Minecraft on low settings, but on high settings, it's basically unplayable. On Minecraft, the Temu PC honestly didn't perform too good, but does it perform better in a more GPU-based game like Fortnite? And on Fortnite, I'm gonna be starting it off on low 1080p DirectX 12 full low settings, and it looks like our CPU immediately is at 100% usage. So honestly, I'm not too surprised about that. However, I have to be honest, it's getting almost 100 FPS, and it seems to be somewhat consistent. However, it's pretty obvious that the CPU is the main thing holding this PC back, because our GPU usage is at like 70%. Now, keep in mind, we are on low settings, so once I go on higher settings, it's gonna start being a lot more laggy. But yeah, it looks like the CPU is really holding this PC back a lot. Okay, as soon as I get into a real fight though, the FPS starts to drop a lot more. Like, we're legit going like from like 50 to 60 FPS, and it's like very inconsistent. Yeah, it's pretty much getting like 60 FPS on 1080p. So what I'm gonna try is keeping it on all the same low settings. However, I'm putting it on 720p now, so we have half the amount of pixels to render, and let's see if it's a little bit better. So it seems like it's still at 100% CPU usage, and it's still having very, very big frame drops. However, I will say the average is like slightly a little bit higher, and the actual GPU usage is a lot less, but yeah, it still is just overall very, very laggy, that's for sure. Honestly, 720p didn't seem to really help that much, but just for fun, let's go on 1080p, and we're gonna go on full max settings now. So let's go over here and put it on the epic preset. I don't even know if the Temu PC will be able to run it. It might just immediately crash. Okay, so now on epic settings, dude, stuff isn't even rendering in. Like, it feels so laggy, and we're pretty much getting like 30 FPS. So now you can see that the GPU usage is pretty much at 100%. So we're pretty much completely maxing out this gaming PC on both the CPU and GPU when we go on epic settings. It's just like not that good. Overall, the Temu PC performed even worse than I expected, but I have a feeling the next PC will be better. So for the next gaming PC, we're gonna be unboxing the Amazon one. Even though the specs are kind of similar, I think this gaming PC is going to perform better because it's from Amazon, and Amazon is known for having better quality stuff than Temu. At least I hope so. All right, so right out of the box, I actually had no idea we were gonna be getting this, but we have a free mouse, a free 70% keyboard that looks really, really sick, power cable, and also a really kind of ugly mouse pad, but it's free, so I'll take it. The box of the PC is kind of small though, and it honestly isn't too heavy, so the PC overall is actually smaller than I expected it to be, but that doesn't mean it's bad. So for the packaging, it looks perfectly fine, and they packaged it pretty well, so nothing should be damaged. And let's get a closer look. Okay. Oh, and static electricity, bro. Honestly, I would say it looks pretty much how I expected it to be. It doesn't look like bad. Okay, one thing I noticed is there's literally glue seeping from the cable that comes into the motherboard. I need to show you guys. So taking off this side panel, which is tempered glass, by the way, the one thing I've been noticing PC pre-built companies doing a lot more is literally gluing things. So they literally glued the RAM on, so you legit can't change the RAM at all. I have no idea why they're doing this. Probably so it doesn't like unplug during shipping, but like I don't even know, that still doesn't even make sense. And I also noticed, I don't know how you see on camera, but there literally is like glue inside of this cable just like seeping out. It's really hard to see. It's kind of hidden, but like, bro, I literally don't know what they're doing. You're just legit not able to upgrade it. And speaking with like leaking glue, let me plug this PC in and make sure it's working properly, because like I still don't really trust this Amazon. Hopefully it powers on right away. Yup, okay, easy. And okay, wait, yo, this looks clean, bro. I mean, it is kind of a smaller PC. I hope it's showing on camera. You can see that they were just able to fit two 120mm RGB fans over on the front. We have one on the back, and then these two fans over here on the top are also 120mm, and they literally like just fit. So there really isn't any extra space for fans. Maybe they could have added one over here on the bottom, but yeah, they basically used every single spot here for cooling. And another thing I just noticed right now is, why is the CPU fan not spinning? Yeah, the CPU fan isn't caught on anything. It's just not spinning at all. And the GPU like fans are spinning, so I know that's working. I think the cooler might just be unplugged. I can literally see glue on it, so I can't like take it out though. If I'm being honest, for Amazon, that is a little disappointing, and I really want to test out the CPU temperatures, because dude, this PC will probably start lagging a lot, especially if you were playing for a while and like the CPU got really hot. It could actually cause damage to the CPU, and your PC could just start crashing or just literally break. So yeah, that definitely is not something you want at all. But speaking about the CPU, we actually have a Core i7. However, they didn't list the gen of it. So with PCs in this price point especially, they usually add like a 4th gen Core i7. So that's gonna be my guess, but I will check it later when we actually have to be set up. For our 2 RAM sticks, which are glued in, by the way, like I mentioned, we have 2 8GB sticks, which is good because we have a total of 16GB of RAM. That's really what I would recommend as a bare minimum. And we have 2 8GB sticks, so we have dual channel, and that is good. Hopefully it will just give us like some better performance. And then the main reason I actually went for this gaming PC, like I mentioned, was literally because of the graphics card. And it actually is a pretty big graphics card, at least compared to the overall size of this PC. And it is the GTX 1050 Ti. If anything, that probably is going to be the saving grace of this PC, and maybe we might hit 200 FPS on low settings. I honestly have no idea what to expect at all, especially without a CPU cooler cooling the CPU. I'm so curious to see the performance of this PC. But I can't forget to at least see this free keyboard and mouse they gave us. So for the mouse, it looks like I definitely won't be using this because there's no side button. But when I plug it in, you can see there is a little bit of RGB. It does feel super cheap. Like, the clicks are not that bad, but I can literally legit pull this apart and rip this apart if I really wanted to. So yeah, I just wouldn't recommend using this mouse for gaming, but as a secondary mouse or for school, it's literally perfectly fine. Now, the keyboard actually looks a little bit better. I'm not sure if this is a mechanical keyboard. It just lists it as a K87 multimedia keyboard, and I've never seen a keyboard like this given for free, so I'm really curious how it actually looks. Again, I really am not harsh on this at all because it literally is completely free, so it always is accepted. I mean, who wouldn't want a free keyboard even if it's not that good? So it looks like we did get a black keyboard, and quick sound test. Okay, it feels pretty cheap. We have arrow keys, so it is kind of like a TKL keyboard. Let's plug this in and check the RGB. Okay, so the RGB on it isn't really that bright, to be honest, and I really wouldn't recommend using this keyboard, but they did give it to us for free, so I'll actually use it for this gaming seat, so we can actually test it out for gaming in case one of you guys wanted to use it, because, I mean, the only thing I definitely wouldn't recommend using is the mouse. And of course, if it wasn't obvious, this mouse pad, because it is way too tiny, first of all, and legit, what is this design? Bro, what is this, bro? Legit has all the commands of the gaming PC, and with the keyboard, I don't even know what this is, bro. But it's free, so I guess I can't really complain too hard. Honestly, I do like how the Amazon PC looks. There just are a few questionable things on it. But more importantly, does it get better results in a benchmark compared to the Temu PC? So it looks like it gave us an incomplete score because it says the GPU is missing even though I updated all the drivers, so that's kind of just a weird thing about user benchmark, but this is just a quick little test. However, we can see that our mystery CPU they didn't list is the Core i7-4770. So it is a 4th gen Core i7, which is probably why they didn't want to list it. However, it does look like our CPU is performing pretty good, and so is our RAM as well. So the only issue I can see here is the CPU not having the CPU fan running, because the CPU is definitely going to get really, really hot, especially when I start gaming for a while. So I think we will have a lot of stuttering. The specs on both PCs were really similar, but to really make sure which gaming PC is better, I decided to test it out on the exact same game. It's on 400, and going right below that, sometimes stuttering to about 200, but it's still overall very consistent. If we're loading in new stuff, it drops to about 200, but very, very good overall. And you can see the CPU usage is at around 50 to 70% seems to be what it's at, and then the GPU is really low. The GPU usage is at 40, 50%, not even. So we're gonna keep it on 1080p and just put it on Minecraft's fabulous settings, but then also max everything out exactly like we did on the Temu PC. And it now looks like we have about 100% CPU usage, and the FPS is definitely a lot more stuttery. It's at 120-ish FPS, and our GPU usage spiked up a ton. We're about 70 to 90% I see it spiking up to, especially if we're trying to render new things in. That's when you see the FPS stutters and all that. But the main thing I want to actually point out is look at our CPU temperature, almost 100 degrees. This is the type of temperature that can seriously cause damage to the CPU, and it's because the CPU fan literally is not working. So yeah, I assume if I ended up testing this out for even longer, we would be seeing more stutters than we're seeing right now, getting about 50 to 100 FPS, and that's simply due to the fact that the CPU is running so hot. But of course, let's push it even more. We're gonna keep it on max settings, but go on 4K, and this is where I assume it's going to start stuttering a lot. So now on 4K, the Amazon PC is literally basically capped at 100% usage with both the CPU and GPU. Our CPU temperature is getting very, very close to 100 degrees, and of course the FPS dropped a lot. We're sitting at about 30 to 40 FPS. I don't really see it hitting 60 unless we're like maybe not flying around. No, it still is at like 30 FPS. So yeah, 4K Minecraft on max settings without shaders seems to be pretty hard for the Amazon PC to run. That's where it kind of gets to its limit. And I assume if I actually test it out for even longer, we would be seeing worse performance just because the CPU is starting to get really hot. But now on Fortnite, it looks to be a completely different story. We have immediately, as soon as I load in, 100% usage on the CPU, almost 100% on the GPU, and it's literally just freezing. Like, the game has just, it literally just completely froze. Look, and we're already on the ground. Like, to show you guys my settings, we're also on low 1080p settings. So we have 1080p, DirectX 12, and everything is on the lowest it possibly can be. And yeah, our CPU temperature is running extremely hot. We're literally just consistently at 100% CPU usage, which is probably what's causing us to get so many frame drops. Fortnite is pretty much unplayable on this PC. And this is literally low 1080p settings. Like, this is why we need the CPU to be working. And it's legit plugged in. I think glue just like seeped into the motherboard and literally broke it. Cause like, look, Fortnite's not even playable. It's honestly performing so bad, there's no point of trying 4K because it's not even gonna work. So I'm gonna try dropping this down to 720p and let's see if it performs better now. All right, so now on 720p, it seems to be a little bit better. Now it's not constantly stuttering. This is actually where it's somewhat playable. We still see 100% usage on the CPU, but at least it's actually not stuttering. And it sucks because the GPU is literally chilling. We're like sitting at like 30 to almost 40% usage on the GPU. So the graphics card, the GTX 1050 Ti, which is the whole reason I bought this PC, is performing completely fine. But the CPU not actually having the fan working and the CPU also just not being that good, which is why we also have 100% GPU usage, that's what's bottlenecking this PC so much. Like, if we just had the CPU working properly, then this PC would honestly be like absolutely insane. But yeah, unfortunately, that just isn't the case. Like, look, we're getting bottlenecked so hard. The CPU is just chilling at like 100% usage the whole time. I'm still able to somewhat play, but honestly, this is kind of disappointing for spending $500. It just is not that good at all. Just for fun to see what happens, I'm back on 1080p, and we're gonna put the quality preset on epic. I don't even know if the PC will like even work properly. It honestly might crash, but let's just see what happens. So on epic 1080p settings, it's honestly struggling to even get out of the menu. But yeah, we're getting like, okay, it actually isn't stuttering as much as I thought, but yeah, you can see we're hitting like 40 FPS and it's pretty much like just very inconsistent. Like, yeah, look how laggy this is. We're getting like, I would say consistent 20 to 30 FPS. So it definitely isn't anything like someone would probably be regularly playing on. Okay, yo, I can't even aim. I literally can't fight properly. Oh my gosh, bro, this is so bad to play on. This is actually horrible. It just honestly feels like I'm playing a slideshow. Like, this is literally horrible. I'm kind of disappointed for an Amazon PC. I'm shocked that both the Temu and Amazon PC honestly performed about the same. But now it's time for the moment you have all been waiting for, which is the budget baddie, otherwise known as the TikTok Shop gaming PC. I have honestly never been so interested to see just how good or bad a gaming PC is. I mean, it's literally called the budget baddie, so it has to be good. Something though is telling me it might not be, especially since it's from TikTok Shop. I literally have no idea what to expect, and they did leave a little note. It says, please lay PC flat before removing glass. Okay, so I mean, yeah, that's kind of obvious, but this is really random. This isn't my hair. Whoever packaged this got some loose hair over here. I don't even know why I'm touching that, bro. Like, okay, whatever, bro. Let's just flip this over and get this PC unboxed. There are a bunch of fragile stickers all over it. So, I mean, they did make a pretty good attempt to make sure it doesn't get damaged during shipping. And out of the box, it looks like we have a little bit of styrofoam to protect it all. We even have a little bit extra on the side. And we have a bag that they even put a fragile sticker on. And this is just like the power cable of the PC. So packaging-wise, this definitely is not bad at all. But I definitely would say that the PC that had the best packaging in this video was surprisingly the Temu one. This is pretty much the exact same as the Amazon PC, so this is actually looking pretty promising for the TikTok Shop PC. All the PCs have this clear bag over it, and they also have this like protective thing inside to make sure nothing gets damaged. And this entire side panel is tempered glass as well, so there literally are a lot of similarities between all three of these gaming PCs, and I was expecting the TikTok one to be by far the worst, but it's actually not looking bad at all. It looks pretty much the same as the other ones. But let's take a closer look removing this packaging, and they did actually add a lot in here. So for packaging, the TikTok Shop PC definitely passed with flying colors. And looking at this, yo, this looks sick, bro. Okay, so the RAM is actually a different color. It is like silver, but I genuinely do like that. The only thing I don't like aesthetically in here is this blue cable, because it really kind of contradicts the kind of like black, red, silver color scheme, but I mean, that's just kind of me being picky, and that's just the SSD cable. If any of the PCs wouldn't start though, I definitely would have placed my bets on the TikTok Shop PC not starting, so let's plug it in and make sure all of it works before I touch anything else. Oh my gosh, wait, yo, dude, I'm not even joking. This is the second PC that actually matched the color scheme. I'm not even like trolling. I did not plan that at all. It literally matches the TikTok color scheme because it's all purple. And dude, it looks really, really nice. I genuinely am being completely serious. I did not set that up. That is like so sick. I don't know what the odds of that happening are. I don't see an RGB remote anywhere in here, so I think we should, yep, we are able to change the RGB over here on the top. And unlike the Temu PC, you are actually able to change it. So we have like the rainbow, and then we have like all the kind of like different effects, and we do have like all the classic kind of solid colors as well, I think. Yeah, so here you can see like green and all that stuff, but let's just put it back on the purple to kind of match the TikTok Shop's theme. I'm genuinely liking this PC a lot more than I actually expected. I will say I wish they used a smaller PC case, because there is a lot of open space over here, so it kind of makes the PC look a little bit more like messy, because there's like a lot of cables you can see, but honestly, that's just me being a little picky. For the 3 RGB fans, we do have 3, I think these are 120mm fans. They do look a little bit big. And then we do have one 120mm fan over here in the back. We don't have any on the bottom or any over here on the top, but honestly, for a PC at this price point, especially for being from TikTok Shop, that's completely fine. And luckily, the CPU cooler is actually working this time. So in terms of the unboxing experience, it's really surprising, but what I would have thought is the best PC, the Amazon one, ends up actually seeming to be the worst. That's honestly why these videos are so interesting, because you can never really predict what happens. But more importantly, what are the specs inside of our budget baddie? Honestly, this PC might have the best specs out of all 3 PCs, and that's mainly down to the CPU. CPU inside of this gaming PC is a Core i5, so it isn't a Core i7 like the last PC, but this is why I mentioned that the CPU generation is so important. Because even though this is a Core i5, it is a 10500T, so it is a 10th gen Core i5. So I personally never actually tested out that CPU, but it is a much newer CPU compared to the last PC, so that's why I'm saying it should be a lot better. And of course, for the RAM, we have 16 gigabytes of RAM, each one being 8 gigs, of course, but this one is DDR4 and it is 3200 megahertz. So yeah, honestly, for a PC at this price point, that's pretty good. For the graphics card, we have the RX 580, and like I mentioned, I know we tested this out on the Temu PC, but the specs are different because the CPU is like a completely different generation and everything. So the performance of it, I actually, if I had to guess, would be better. However, the biggest difference between the TikTok Shop PC and compared to the Temu one is just that there are actually like no extra peripherals. I mean, we get exactly what we paid for, and we do have the power cable, but honestly, if the performance of this is like 30% better than the Temu PC, I would literally recommend buying a TikTok Shop PC like this one over the Temu one, because I think buying a PC just strictly for like all performance is better, and a lot of the Temu PC like peripherals were honestly kind of cheap. But I would honestly just recommend focusing on buying a solid PC and then buying exactly the peripherals you want, because you can still buy some pretty good budget peripherals that you actually decide. So the budget baddie actually doesn't seem that bad at all, especially coming from TikTok Shop. But I have absolutely no idea what to expect, so of course I had to test it out on the same benchmark first. And surprisingly, out of all the gaming PCs, it looks like the TikTok Shop PC actually performed the best. The gaming score is still low, but we have a 23% gaming score, 85 on the desktop, and 21% on the workstation. So I think that's the highest, at least compared to the Temu PC, because we actually got to see results. But it seems like the CPU is performing way above expectations. And if I had to guess, this CPU is way better compared to the Core i7 4th gens and the last 2 PCs. It seems like our GPU is also performing pretty good, above expectations. So is the RAM. Everything inside of the budget baddie seems to be going crazy, I'm not gonna lie. It does give us a warning that the GPU can handle older games, but it will will struggle to render recent games at resolutions greater than 1080p, so we definitely need to test out 4K on this gaming PC. The results of the TikTok Shop gaming PC were definitely the best, but just how much better is it for gaming? And just like the benchmark said, this is definitely the best gaming PC. I mean, we have it on fast Minecraft settings, and it looks like we are able to hit almost over 1,000 FPS, and we didn't even put it on the ultra low settings like I did on the previous PCs. I did notice that the GPU is running kind of like heavy in terms of the usage. We're already almost at 100%, but this is the first CPU that actually isn't at 100% usage the whole time. It's sitting at around 60 to 80. So let's quickly put everything on the lowest it possibly can go, just so we can see a quick max FPS on the TikTok Shop budget baddie PC. So now we're pretty much averaging 1,000 FPS the whole time, and if I look up without touching anything, this is the max FPS we've gotten on any of the PCs, 1.2K. However, a better test we can do is actually put it on the fabulous preset. So this is kind of the Minecraft default preset, and see how much the FPS is and like what it's actually like getting. So now on the fabulous preset inside of Minecraft, we are getting a, give it a second to render. We are still able to get like 200 to 300 FPS, and I think this is definitely the most consistent feeling PC, because especially the CPU isn't at 100% usage or anything like that. It definitely still has a few stutters. However, look at how far our render distance is. It is very, very far in terms of our render distance. If I'm trying to render in new things, obviously that's when it like starts stuttering a little bit. But dude, honestly, the CPU doesn't seem to be that bad. We haven't really hit 100% usage on that yet. And I mean, the GPU seems to be at like 70%. So this is definitely seeming to be the best PC. Let's quickly go on to 4K. The Temu PC was pretty much unplayable on this, and the Amazon PC was like really bad. They were getting like 30 FPS, but this PC is a little bit higher. It seems to be getting like 40 to 60, sometimes 70 FPS. So in terms of even 4K gaming, the TikTok Shop budget baddie is definitely the best. Okay, 100 FPS we just hit. Like, okay, so the PC is able to hit like 200 FPS if I'm not doing anything on 4K, which is pretty impressive. But I mean, if you really want to game on 4K, you actually are able to. It just does have a few stutters. However, it's actually very impressive for 500, even like $480 is what I spent. And it's the TikTok Shop PC. I thought this was gonna be the worst PC. Okay, 100% without any doubt, the TikTok Shop PC is the best PC in this video. I mean, look at how much more consistent the FPS is. Even like in the middle of a fight, like I can still get like 100 plus FPS, and it isn't stuttering like at all. To be honest, I think it's mainly due to the fact that our CPU is just by far the best one out of all the gaming PCs. Our GPU surprisingly is at 100% usage. However, we're not getting like a ton of frame drops or anything, but Fortnite is also a pretty CPU intensive game, which is probably why performance is so much better with like a better CPU, and we're only getting like 60% usage right now. But honestly, I am very surprised that the performance is this consistent literally the whole time. Like it's legit not stuttering. Like we're able to hit 140 FPS. It feels very, very smooth, and I think it's pretty safe to say and just clear to like see visually. Let's go on full epic settings and let's see the performance of the PC. I think we should be able to still hit maybe like 60 FPS. Okay, now this is where it's definitely struggling. I mean, it's not frame dropping consistently the whole entire time, but now on full epic settings, keep in mind, these are very high settings. We're still on 1080p. It's getting like 40-ish FPS, so it honestly isn't that bad, even for like how high the settings are. So now our GPU usage is like pretty much on the max, and we're only getting like 50 FPS, or actually like 40 FPS on full epic settings. This is still on 1080p, so you could say this is playable because it actually isn't frame dropping like very, very hard the entire time. But I definitely wouldn't really recommend playing on this. I would probably be playing on like low settings if this was actually my PC. I mean, it is my PC, but I mean if this was like my only gaming PC. What I do know is a lot of you guys do like to game on 4K sometimes, so let's actually go on 4K, and I'm gonna put it on 4K low settings. Let's just see the difference of the FPS. I think we should be hitting 60-ish if I had to guess. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. So, okay, so yeah, exactly. 60 FPS on 4K low quality presets, and you can see our CPU is chilling, 30% usage. Our GPU GPU though is kind of high. We're like pretty much at 100% usage with the GPU. Okay, for the win final player, this kid is literally like 1 HP. I can't even aim, but there you go, bro. I think it's pretty safe to say that everything performance-wise, the TikTok Shop PC is 100% the best one. So the best gaming PC was surprisingly the TikTok Shop PC, and it wasn't even close. But subscribe so we can hit 1 million subs by the end of 2026, and I'll give away a $5,000 gaming PC. Remember, Jesus loves you, and God bless.